I.S.U.P.K out of 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General Yahanna. Tonight is the I.S.U.P.K Atlanta law class.
It's this buffer. Alright, you on now.
Shalom, Israel. I am Precinct Officer of 500, Kahan Kasiyad of I.S.U.P.K Atlanta. Start out of 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General Yahanna. Tonight is the I.S.U.P.K Atlanta Biblical Law class. Tonight's topic is social media your God? Once again, tonight's topic is social media your God. And for those of you who don't know, I like to go through the itinerary for the week, although it is midweek. I like to let people know, if this is your first time watching, that Monday is our history class, Tuesday, Salakia, is our brotherhood class, Wednesday, which is tonight, is our law class, Thursday is our scripture breakdown class, Friday is our Lashawan Kodash class, which is our language in the Hebrew, and then on Saturday from 11 to 12 is our Sabbath class. Feel free to come and join on either of those days. If you don't live in the Atlanta area, or if you don't live in Georgia and you happen to be tuning in, be sure to look up for the area that you are. All you have to do is type in I.S.U.P.K in the city or state where you live, so that you can get that proper information so you can watch those classes. But if you are here in Atlanta, come here. The address is 3353 Glenwood Road, Decatur, Georgia. We are here 6 days out of the week, making sure that we teach you this truth. One thing that I want to say before we get started, before we really get going, is that we here at the I.S.U.P.K are not affiliated to any other Hebrew Israelite group, period. We are the home of the truth. It started with us and it'll finish with us. No one else, if it is not of the I.S.U.P.K, it is not of the truth. With that being said, let me go ahead and get this class started. See who we have online. Let's see here, give me just a moment. And if you would like to call in, go ahead and call in now. The number is 404-793-7180. Once again, the call-in number to the class so that you can be in live with us is 404-793-7180. So like I don't want to let you let them know to go ahead and call in. If you will for me, Baba Kasha. Now, once again, as I said, tonight's topic is social media your God? And it should be a heavy topic for all of us, because in one way, shape, or fashion, you have either been a part of what we're going to be discussing tonight, or you have witnessed what we're going to be discussing tonight. When it comes to social media, be it Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, there's so many different platforms out there. We tend to get carried away with ourselves when it comes to operating with these platforms. What you have to understand is that you can do things in moderation. I wouldn't say that there's anything that is particularly wrong with any of the platforms. It's how you use it. It's the tool that you have in your hands that can either hinder you from doing what you need to do, or you can go ahead and put forth messages like we do within the school in the I.S.U.P.K. We put our classes on YouTube and Facebook, Twitter, and things like that, and TikTok. We let people know what's going on. So we're using it against what our oppressor does to influence, I guess you can say, wickedness. We're using it to influence, or to put forth the truth, to influence our brothers and sisters to look and see what it is that we're doing, to see what it is that we're talking about, to give them that platform to say, okay, I can tune in and I can watch this class. Because you're not going to see us out on the street corners every single week. I mean, every day. You're going to see us there on the weekend, Saturday. So with that being said, what we're going to do tonight is delve into the thought process of why we hone in so much on social media. What is it about social media that makes us want to spend so much of our time on it? As I go through this, what you're going to recognize it. Shalom on Christ, what's going on?
I'm on Christ, that was my show. Check it out.
Excellent, excellent. You too, Block?
I've been fighting like a warrior, number one.
Absolutely. Hey, that's what we got to do. That's what we got to do. And I know you prepared to do it.
Oh, God.
All right, just getting that attendance in. And in case you didn't already hear, the topic for today's class is social media your God? Now, there's a lot to unpack within this class. There's a lot of things to discuss with social media, because if you really stop and look at your day, every single person who has access to the internet, every single person who has a phone has some sort of access to social media. Think about that. I mean, I've been around people who are homeless who somehow managed to have a cell phone. Now, if they're on social media, you know, I'm not quite sure, but I can tell you this. I was on my slavery and I stopped somewhere for lunch. And there was a brother who was homeless who came up to me and asked if I could give him a couple dollars. You know, of course, I didn't have any cash on me. So the brother then said to me, well, I have Cash App. And when he told me that he had Cash App, and I'm like, this brother's homeless, but he had a phone and he had Cash App. It just didn't make sense to me. But I guess, you know, in this 2022, when you're homeless, you can get crafty. You know, there's certain things that you can pull off. But that being said, I'm making the point of the access to social media, the access to being able to do something electronically, being in that world virtually is, like they say, at your fingertips. So tonight, we're going to discuss what it is that draws you in. And not only what it is that draws you in, but why do you do it? Why do you do what you do? Why do you feel that you have to go to Facebook and vent all your problems? Why do you feel that you have to go to social media and write paragraphs, write movies, essays, to let everyone know what's going on with you? I'm going to let you know there's something very wicked behind it, because there's things that I've seen here, especially just within the last month, that makes me say, wow, you really do need a family. You really do need love. You need someone to hug you. You need someone to talk to you. But most of all, you need counsel. You need to come into this truth. For those of you who are outside of the truth, outside of the I.S.U.P.K, and you're going on social media and putting your life on it, you need counsel. And for those of you, understand this class isn't just about those who are in the world. This class is also to brothers and sisters that are in the truth. Because yes, we can get on social media and find ourselves engulfed in it. It can be dangerous. It can be dangerous, especially, and I'm not picking on you, but I'm telling you what it is, especially for sisters. Sisters can get on social media, especially if she's angry, or if it's sisters who have left the truth. The first thing she does is she goes straight to Facebook. She goes straight to social media and decides, I'm going to put people on blast. 10 times out of 10, you know what she's doing? She's bitter and she's lying. She's posting things that aren't true. She's trying her best to get everyone to be on her side. So she wants to use a public platform with all of her so-called friends on there, or people that she doesn't even know, so that she can put people on blast, or so that she can say certain things to destroy either a group's character or a person's character. Social media can be extremely dangerous, and it's not for, to be honest with you, it's not for children. It's not for people who aren't mature. And then I'm going to go back a little bit further. When it comes to Facebook, when Facebook first came out, it was for college students. That's what it was for. It had nothing to do with, I guess you can say, the outside world or people who weren't in college. Then over time, they changed some things, Mark Zuckerberg and his people, and they made it to where everyone could get onto Facebook. And they monetized it. And it is grown into a billion, if not trillion-dollar industry overall, meaning not just with Facebook, but when you're looking at the metaverse, which you're going to hear me discuss tonight. The metaverse, they're looking at it becoming about being worth about $800 billion. That's almost $1 trillion. That's practically what it is. So for something to be able to generate that sort of income, that people are wanting to spend the majority of their lives on in a 24-hour day, there has to be something that's drawing you in. And I can tell you this, if you're not within the I.S.U.P.K, and if you're not watching the classes on social media of the I.S.U.P.K, then what's drawing you in is extremely dangerous. It's a spirit. There's some sort of demon that's drawing you in. There's some sort of lust that you are entangled with that's drawing you in. Now, tonight, with the time that I have, I'm going to share with you a few things that are going to help you to understand that social media is like a drug. You can become addicted to social media. Before I go any further, do I have anyone else on the call? Excellent. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and continue. As I'm saying, this is going to be a topic that's going to be discussing social media and how it's an addiction, mainly Facebook. Go ahead. Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai Barakatah. What's going on, Op?
Not much. I don't want to.
I'm Tawab. Good to hear from both from you, and also good to hear from you, my inshallah, in case I didn't say it earlier. All right. Tonight's topic, Gashan, in case you didn't know, is social media your God? So this should be a fun topic, a heavy topic, and a deep topic, all in the same, because we all use social media. And I know myself, before coming into the truth, of course I use social media to promote because my business was on it. But I also use social media to draw people in, not just for promotion, but in my own mind, although I knew nothing, I thought that I did, I would put my little philosophies on social media, on Facebook. And I would get hundreds of likes, and people were like, oh man, that's deep, that's this, that's this. And I thought that I was doing something. I thought, hey, my thought process is beyond the regular person's thought process. Let me go ahead and share this with you. When actually, once I come into this truth, I found out that my thought process was nothing. I knew nothing. I was stupid. I didn't know anything. Matter of fact, I was thinking and posting as a Christian. And we all know here in the I.S.U.P.K. that Christians know nothing. They don't know anything. So my philosophies were nothing. My philosophies were vain. I was putting things out there and feeding other people my thought process who knew nothing. But tonight what we're going to discover is that we have a community in which that we can go to here in the I.S.U.P.K, our brothers and sisters, when we have issues. We can go to the men that are above us. We can go to our captains. We can go to our generals to get counsel. We don't have to go to social media to post everything. But we're not just going to hone in on us posting our personal life. We're also going to discuss how we become someone else within social media. We become a person that we are not when we're sitting in our bedroom on the bed flicking through social media. There's a lot of different things we're going to discuss tonight that are going to tap into the thought process of who you are and who you aren't. So, as we get ready to go into this, it's probably going to be some things that trigger you. Or there's going to be some things that I'll say will trigger that demon. Because there is a spirit that is within social media. And unfortunately, social media, like many other things that blacks and Hispanics do, have become idol worship. Now, it's not that our oppressor doesn't worship social media, because they do. They're the ones who actually influence what it is that we do a lot of times. They'll do something and then we'll see it and then we'll do it. But then we'll come up with something and do it better. They'll see it and then they want to do it. So then you have all this going on, this pot, these different, what do you call them, challenges, if you will, that you see on social media. So, as I say, is social media your God? There's a particular scripture that I want to bring out. My Shala or Gashan, if you would, I need you to give me the book of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 24. The book of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 24. Baba Gashan. Read it when you have it.
No, sir. The book of Matthew, chapter 6, and verse 24. No man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. He cannot serve God and man.
Now, in this context here, where you can't serve two masters, where you can't serve the Most High and social media. Because what you have done is you've chosen social media over Yahweh. You've chosen social media over God because it has become your God. It has become your master. One of the masters is Facebook, the Facebook challenge. Whatever challenges are on Facebook, that's your master. Whatever challenges there are on TikTok, that's your master. Whatever challenges there are on Instagram, that's your master. You can't serve social media and God. Because what you'll do is you'll find yourself going throughout your day. And as you go through your day, what are you doing? You're looking at your phone. You're wanting to post something, or you're talking about whatever's going on through your day. And we all do it. We've all done it. We're all guilty of that. But what you can't do is you can't let it consume your day. Because what happens is it's almost as though when you look at a drug, we understand that when you take drugs, there is a chemical that is released into your brain. That chemical that's released into your brain is a dopamine, and it then causes you to get excited. It causes a stimulation. So you continue to do more drugs. Well, when it comes to social media, the stimulation or the dopamine or what triggers you to get excited is when someone responds to you. Think about that. Once you get a response, once that phone chimes, whatever your notification chime is, once you hear it, all of a sudden, boom, you get that phone up and you look at it. You're looking to see what was either said, or not just what was said, whether they liked it or not. So over time, that becomes something that you're feeding off of. You're feeding off of and feeding off of because you want to continue to see whether someone liked what you said or if someone commented on what you said. And that's just a comment. We're going to get into it, time allowing, with pictures. You're going to see how photos, especially photos with sisters, with Black and Hispanics, how that affects them. You're going to understand the spirit that is within social media that has been, I guess you can say silently, in a sense, working its way through Israel. And that may sound a bit far-fetched because you're like, well, social media, how can it be affecting a nation? Well, think about it. Social media, at the press of a button, you can have some sort of spam on there or someone that's putting something out that is not truthful. People will read it, and because they're unlearned, they will then read it and they will accept it as truth. But if you're in the I.S.U.P.K, you understand that there's only one truth. Now, you may say to yourself, well, it doesn't just have to be about the Bible. Well, within the I.S.U.P.K, we make sure, we don't wonder, we don't guess, we make sure that the information that we are bringing forth is correct. So therefore, it causes us to have to read. And that's one thing I want to say. In the I.S.U.P.K, you're going to read. And what I mean is, when I say reading, meaning you're going to study. The scripture says to study to show thyself a workman approved unto God. So what I notice that I do is I'm constantly reading everything. But before I post it, I want to make sure that it's factual. So I have to do some background work to make sure, okay, does this lead to this? Does this lead to this? Does this make sense? Or is this just something that someone is putting out there like propaganda? Something to get something started, a troll, if you will. So what we have to do is make sure that we are putting out information that is truthful, that is factual. Now, the reason why I bring those things up is because, as I was saying earlier, you have sisters who may get upset and they'll post things. We have to have the mindset to understand that people are going to attack. They're going to attack us, and it's not about the I.S.U.P.K, but people are going to use that platform because it can reach more than 10 people. It's a huge platform for someone to gossip. And then what happens? You get on there, you scroll through and you're reading. You scroll through and you're reading. Guess what? In your mind, that dopamine is being released. You're excited. You're reading what it's saying. You're like, ooh, ooh, ooh. In the I.S.U.P.K, no. We don't do that. So I will tell you brothers, to tell your ribs, or to you women, to you sisters who don't have a husband, take a break from Facebook from time to time. And when you see a disgruntled sister who decides that, oh, I'm going to leave the truth for whatever lie, whatever reason she wants to leave the truth for, and she wants to post a paragraph or essay about whatever, don't flatter her by responding and or reading her book. Don't do it. Because what will happen is, especially if you aren't rooted in this, some of you may read something and then use it as truth. You'll read a part of something and say, oh, well, she has a point there. Oh, I sort of understand that. That's what Satan wants. And the second you give way to it just a little bit, guess what? Then you're hooked. Then instead of following the order where it says to delete a sister, you don't delete them. You stay and you continue to read whatever it is that they're posting. And because you disobeyed the order, because you did not follow the order, and you continue to read, guess what? You fall into that rabbit hole. You fall into that rabbit hole and then you get yourself caught up and you get yourself confused because you didn't listen. Social media, as I said, it's a tool, but it can be very dangerous. There's a spirit within social media that if you aren't paying attention, it'll get all over you. Now, before I go any further, does any of the brothers on the phone have any comments about this topic? Excellent. Then we will continue. Oh, go ahead, Al. Go ahead.
I mean, it's a heavy topic you bring up. I remember, like, back in the day on your slavery, you know what I'm saying? You couldn't have no phone, like, out on the plan, or, you know, your supervisor wouldn't let you have your phone and stuff like that. But now that everybody on social media all the time, it's allowable. You know, back in the day, you used to want to keep your phone because I might have kids, you know, emergency happening or something like that. But nowadays, you know, you walk around, even truck drivers, you walk around, what's the Uber drivers or the Amazon drivers, everybody got their phone out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's distracting everybody. You got more wrecks happening. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. So yeah, that's the heavy topic you bring out because everybody on social media all the time.
Absolutely. You know what, you brought out a heavy point. When you said distraction, because that's what it is. It is a distraction because people put so much of their time into it. I'm going to ask the brothers on the phone. I don't want what you have.
I was feeding off the officer's point because you know, back in when we was going to school and stuff, we couldn't even, like, you almost get suspended if you bring your phone to
right.
school. But now with my kids, they can bring it. Like, it's so much they can bring their phones to school now. My 10th grader, she mad because they gotta keep their phone in their locker. I'm like, I don't need no phone in school. But you know what I'm saying? But it, like, we couldn't even bring it to school. But now it's so privileged. The elementary kids bring them to school and everything now.
You're right. Think about that. What Officer Brock just brought out was also heavy. Putting it with your point, mashallah, that even in school, the kids, they can bring their phones now. And, you know, he was saying how his daughter, you know, they have to put their phones in their locker. But I'm going to tell you something. This is going to give up my age, which I don't care. It wasn't no phones when I was in school. Even when I graduated, we had beepers, or pagers, but we didn't have a phone. And if you did have a phone, you was doing something. But it was one of them Zach Morris phones that was like this big. But, you know, the thing about it is, yes, if you think about it, we actually act as though we cannot operate without our phone. Now, it's linked to what I'm talking about with social media, but having your phone, we operate as though our phone is an appendage, meaning it's another body part. If you don't have your phone, all of a sudden your mind goes into a place like, oh, what do I do? Like you reach it in your pocket, because if you keep it in your pocket all day, you're putting your hand towards your pocket to see if your phone's there. Now, you already left it at home. You made it to your slavery. You realize you didn't bring your phone with you, but you keep on checking your pocket, knowing that it's not there. That's like a drug. That's a dependency. You understand what I'm saying? That's a dependency. If you can understand that it's something that we feel like we have to have it. If I leave the house without my phone, I got to turn around and go back and get it. When there was a time when you didn't have a phone, there was a time when you could run the street. Go ahead, Op.
What you bring out though is because like this phone right here, man, has broken. I'm not saying my phone, but I'm saying the phone, period, has broken up a lot of families. You know what I'm saying? It's like the black book right here. You know what I'm saying? If that woman get on your phone, that man get in your phone, you doing something you ain't supposed to do, it's over. A lot.
You're correct. That phone has definitely ended some things. Social media has ended things. People going into your DMs has ended things, has started fights. Matter of fact, social media has caused people to get killed. Social media has started fights, physical altercations. Think about that. All from social media. Think about that. Now, you have the TV, and it's something that Officer Takashiwan, when he says it, you can actually hear it, and it makes sense. He says it's TV programming. You know, when people used to say television program, TV programming. Well, that's what it is. Social media, it's another form of programming. That's exactly what it does. You turn it on, you find whatever it is that you want to see, you comment on it, or you watch it, or you share it. And it's a process that you go through all day long, looking for something to stimulate you. Go ahead, Ott.
I mean, here's the point, like I say again, like how many rappers that got killed, how many gangbangers that got killed by using social media, dropping their location. Like they dropping their location all the time. You know what I'm saying? How many people get killed on just dropping their location? Like,
Absolutely. This letting you know that you're tied into social media. So if you would, one more time, read Matthew 6:24 for me again, Bob Kashab.
Come on, sir. The book of Matthew chapter 6 and verse 24. No man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. Ye cannot serve God and man.
Well, Officer Napash, go ahead, Op.
It's like y'all said, so here, kind of piggyback, you know what I'm saying? Be like social media be part of your life. It also be your counselor too. Because if you type in too many likes and stuff like that and share, you be typing in likes and stuff, you know what I'm saying? You like watching certain videos or watching certain, you know what I'm saying, fun and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? We had like some downtime or not. It can tell you that, okay, you might need this, or you might need to take this class, or keep you getting watch more videos, like, you know what I'm saying, like women twerking, you know what I'm saying? If you type in women on your profile, that's put your interest in women, that's how like women and beauty, it'll keep showing reels and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? It will like, yeah, it'll keep looking to buy like, you know what I'm saying? You go to these sites like Wish.com, you know what I'm saying? Buy a ring or buy some, you know, buy a nice outfit and stuff like that. So
You're correct.
Side of it too.
You're correct. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. You know, and actually you touched on something that I'm going to go into, because yes, it is used as a counselor, but we're going to find out who the actual counselor is. And it won't be social media. It won't be Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, or whatever else is on there that is going to be used to distract us. But as I was saying, with that verse, it's letting you know that you can't serve two masters. Well, your master is something that rules over you. And if it's something that rules over you, meaning if you have to do it, that's something that's having control over you. You just have to do it. You have to go and look at it. You have to go and scroll. You have to go and comment. You have to go and like. That's something that's ruling over you. That's your master. And how do I prove that? Simply, we're going to go into a couple of these things that are going to prove my point of when I'm talking about your master. For example, we're going to go to some of these challenges. Let me see here. We had the Savage Challenge by, who was that? What's this sister's name? Meg the Stallion. Now, just so that you can get some clarity and some understanding, I'm going to go into some of this. Where are we at? Go ahead, Shalom, Yahabashim Yashabakatah. What's going on? All right. So what we're going to do, I'm going to discuss a couple of these challenges with you quickly to let you see the influence that it has. Right now I'm looking for the Meg the Stallion challenge, because once I read it, you were then, okay, the Savage Challenge. It says, the song by Meg the Stallion, Savage, was the inspiration behind the challenge. The challenge became quite a rage on social media, and thus the Savage Challenge came into the picture. As a part of the challenge, people had to do a definite dance routine on the Savage song, which was a combination of freestyle dance. So of course they're saying I'm a savage, and they're doing the dance. If you remember, at a certain point, you couldn't turn on social media, whether it be TikTok or what have you, where they weren't doing that dance. So you're gonna see where actually these people, they call themselves influencers. Remember I said influencers, because it's gonna be very important as I continue. The next one is called the Beauty Mode Challenge. Now, of course, a lot of these challenges cater towards women. Now, you do have brothers out there who do them too, but we already know what that is. We already know it there. If it's a brother out there doing the Savage Challenge, then we already know. He plays for the other team. He's a switch hitter. So, we already know what the deal with that is. Let's see if I can find the other challenge, that Beauty Mode Challenge. Let's see. Let's see if I can find it here. Okay, the Beauty Mode Challenge is during the lockdown, talking about COVID, people were mostly chilling at home in their pajamas with no makeup on. So the TikTokers came up with this bright idea of using the beauty mode on their TikTok app to transform their looks from a non-makeup look to a full makeup look. Every one of you, if you have TikTok or some sort of social media, you've seen that. They'll be on there, it'll be a picture of them with no makeup, then all of a sudden they snap their finger or TikTok or whatever, and then they have makeup on. Personally, when I see these sisters who look like they've been hit in the face with a paint truck, I'm not attracted to it. I love to see sisters that are all natural. Now, there's nothing wrong with makeup. If it's tastefully done, I actually have no issue with it at all. Put it on, do whatever you want to do to beautify yourself, sis. Do that, but just know you don't have to look like you've been hit by a paint truck. Embrace that beauty without all the makeup. You can do that. That's just my personal spin I'm putting on it. But just to let you know, that's another one of the challenges. And then you have the Wipe It Down Challenge. Now I know y'all know that song Wipe It Down or Wipe Me Down or whatever. It says in this challenge, the song Wipe It Down by BMW Kenny plays in the background and a person stands in front of the mirror, and the video begins with a person wearing an outfit, and then they wipe down the mirror and appear in a new look with a different outfit. Now, of course, you would hear these things and you say to yourself, well, obviously this has to be harmless. These things are just all in fun. And there's nothing wrong with having fun. There's a time for everything, and I'll get into that. But hold your peace 1 second. But what you have to understand is that when it's consuming your time, when it's consuming you, when you feel like, oh, I have to stop and do this, because at that point, it's in your mind. You want to get some attention from it. Because think about this. You're at home alone. You're in front of your mirror. There's no one else with you, and you're trying to be creative there by yourself so that you can do something to post on social media so people will respond to you. Think about that for a second. And once it really starts to click, it will sound ridiculous. It will. Go ahead and bring out your point. Somebody says Salaki. Go ahead.
Job 13 and 4 for a precept.
Go ahead and bring it out.
This is the book of Job, chapter 13, verse 4. But ye are forgers of lies. Ye are all physicians of no value. Speaking of which, how we use Facebook, you know how you were talking in the beginning of class, and we see it all the time, but you get on social media and become a beast. You know, you're a completely different person from when when a person, when you meet a person face to face, and how the way these people use filters and all these different these different techniques and stuff they can use with the technology and stuff, with the phones and stuff that they have. Just like when everybody out saying that they want something real, but when you look at them in reality, they want something real fake.
You are correct.
And it holds no value to the stupid stuff that they're out here doing.
You're absolutely correct, and actually, yes, that is a great precept. That's a great precept. And if I could you read that again? The brother, what he brought out was from the book of Job, chapter 13, verse 4. Read that for me again, Baba Kashai.
This is the book of Job, chapter 13, verse 4. But ye are forgers of lies. Ye are all physicians of no value.
Now think about that. You are creating a lie. And the lie that you create, there's no value to what you're doing. There's no value to you standing in front of your mirror, doing whatever it is you're doing, standing in front of that camera, getting some likes. It's vain. It's no value. It's nothing. That's what it is. And what happens is all these things that we're discussing, they drive you to do things just for attention. Why is it that you have to have attention from complete strangers? And if there are people that are actually your friends, then you don't have to do those things. So you have to ask yourself, is it something that's sociological? Is it psychological? Is it biological? I will say that it is. If you would, Mashallah or Gashan, give me the book of Galatians, chapter 1, verse 10. The book of Galatians, chapter 1, verse 10, Baba Kashai. And read it when you have it.
This is the book of Galatians, chapter 1, verse 10. For do I now persuade men, or God? Or do I seek to please men? For if I yet please men, I should not be the servant of Christ.
Now, if you heard that verse, you'll understand that it's heavy and why it's so heavy. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it out one more time in case someone didn't hear it. Give me one moment. The book of Galatians, chapter 1, verse 10. For do I not persuade men or God, or do I seek to please men? For if I yet please men, I should not be the servant of Christ. You're trying to please man, women, people, when you are focused on social media, when you're trying to get those likes, when you're wanting man's approval. You're not seeking the approval of the Most High. You want the approval of man. So how can you be a servant? How can you be a servant of Christ if your approval that you're seeking isn't of him? You want man who is nothing, who knows nothing, is your approval. Think about that. I know with my slavery, a lot of people think that I can come across kind of harsh or cold, but I promise you, I'm not a cold person. I'm a nice guy. I'm just about my father's business. You know, I'm a no nonsense type of person, but I can be just as silly as the rest, especially when I'm with my brothers, when I'm with my sisters, when I'm with my family. I can cut up. I can be silly. You know, I have a sense of humor. I'm not always this person that's hard. But you have to understand that there's a time and a place for these things. Who I serve is Christ. I do the will of my Father, number one. I follow these laws, statutes, and commandments. That's what we all do here in the I.S.U.P.K. Our time is not consumed with, oh, I have to get on Facebook and I have to see what's going on with this. It's not. Because to be honest, and I'm going to speak on myself because I can't speak for every person, but I'm pretty sure they're the same way. With me, my concern is what's going on with my brothers. My concern is what's going on within this school. My concern is what's going on within the body of Israel. My people that are out there. Now, yes, do I use social media? Absolutely. Am I consumed with social media? Absolutely not. It's simply a tool to use to spread this truth. But can it be used for something worse? Absolutely. And as I continue to go on through this, you're going to see those things. Now, understand this, social media has no age limit. They can be as young as 5 years old to 75 years old. And you'll be surprised, you'll see some of these kids on there that are working through the phone. I mean, like little geniuses. I'm impressed with it when I see it. But I have to understand that when I was a kid, I'm impressed with it because I'm like, wow, they're operating this phone. When I was a kid, I was operating a G.I. Joe with the Kung Fu grip. That's what I was operating. I was playing with He-Man, G.I. Joe. I was playing with toys. I wasn't worried about a phone. Phones weren't even out for me to be worried about. So now these kids are coming across much older than they are. You have children that are wanting to get on social media. They're wanting to start a Facebook page or Instagram page so they can get some followers. What does your child know about having followers? Don't nobody need to follow your little ass. What you need to be doing is following the example of your mother and father. That's what the children need to be doing. They need to be following the example of their mother and father. The mother and father need to be following the example that was laid before them in this truth here in the I.S.U.P.K. by following these laws, statutes, and commandments. So if you want to follow someone, you follow Commander J. Yahanna. If you want to follow someone, you follow these men in the I.S.U.P.K. who are following these laws, statutes, and commandments. That's who you follow. So that you can get this truth. It's not about pictures and dancing and pop locking and all this type of stuff. Now, mind you, I'm a dancer. Well, I used to be. I'm a little bit too big for that now. I enjoy dancing. Will you see me get on TikTok and do a dance for you on TikTok? Absolutely, you will not. Will you see me do it on Facebook or YouTube? Absolutely, you will not. If any of you brothers see me doing something like that, take me to counsel. Take me to counsel because there's a problem. So I can go ahead, hold on.
Yeah, you gotta tell the ribs all the time, man. Like, you know, they be seeing other couples doing all that gyrating and stuff. The man be on that gyrating his body on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yo, I never do that.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
No.
Like, you can go ahead and mess with that. I don't care if you think I'm no fun. I'm not going that route.
Right, you know, absolutely.
I ain't build all this up just to break it down.
Right, absolutely, absolutely. And then look, go ahead,
You know, you piggyback on, like, back then, you were 5 years old, you put G.I. Joes and stuff like that. You were on class. Well, when I was that kid, if I was a kid now, I've been using social media at age 5, because back then, I was messing around with the Nintendo and the Atari. You know what I'm saying? I already got to put the game in, I already got to know controls, know what's going on with some fun on the string, stuff like that. So that, you know, you talk about now the kids with the social media and TikTok, that was me back then, like with a Atari Nintendo, like 3 or 4 years old, you know, to operate. So.
And you know what, Napash, I can just about picture you doing that. Because you are pretty crafty when it comes to these electronics, when it comes to this computer. So you might have been one of them whiz kids that were all into TikTok and all that type of stuff. Me, look, I was simple. I had the video games myself, which is, Video games within itself is another area or realm of that goes into social media as well. But I'm simple. When I would play the video games, I didn't want to have to read it and figure out all these buttons, up, down, down, A, B, and all this type of stuff. I was just ready to press the buttons and go. So for me, like I said, I like the simpler things. You know, now everything is social media driven. Everything is approval driven. I could care less about all those things. But as we are talking about these things, about video games, about phones, about social media, about all these different challenges, what I want you to understand is that there's a time and a place for everything. You know, understand that I'm not the fun police. I understand that people can have fun, but once again, I want you to understand it's the addiction. It's the people who are spending all of their time on social media because they aren't getting what they need somewhere else. And I'm not going to say they're not getting what they need somewhere else because someone's not giving it to them in that sense, but in the sense that they don't have a foundation. Obviously, you're not in the truth. So you wouldn't, if you're in the truth, you don't need social media for approval. But because you aren't in the truth, anything can sway you. Anything can be something that can draw you in. And once it draws you in, a simple little challenge can have you sitting there on your phone all day watching challenge after challenge after challenge. And then when you do yours, waiting for people to comment and like. And if you don't get the comment or like that you want, or the number of likes that you want, that you thought you would get, guess what? All of a sudden it messes with your mind. It puts you in a depression. I won't even say you're in a depression yet. You start to get defeated. So what do you do when you start to get defeated? You start to go a step further. Slocky. You go a step further and say, well, you know what? They didn't like that. Maybe they'll like this. But understand, these social media challenges aren't just about dancing and having fun. Some of these social media challenges can get you hurt. Because I'm sure you've seen where these cats are here doing these challenges where they just walk up and knock your hat off your head. Or they just walk up and say something crazy to you or your rib. Or, for those who don't understand rib, it might be a brother who's walking with his girl and another brother just walks up and says something to his girl like he ain't even standing there. That's a challenge. When the dude gets ready to put his hands on him, he say, oh, no, see, it's a camera over there, it's a camera over there. You have people who are influencers who are making thousands, hundreds of thousands, possibly millions, just from doing things that are absolutely silly. From things that have no value. As Sean brought out in the book of Job 13:4. They were creating lies. That's what they're doing. They're staging situations just for someone to look so they can get likes. But guess what? You have another level of it to where people are starting to get money because they have followers. And then they have to create more content and more content and more content. You're going to see that this thing goes really deep when it comes to social media to where you have to wonder if people are starting to become goddamn avatars. Are you living in the damn metaverse? Is what you're doing. You're actually living in the metaverse. Are you actually human? Go ahead.
And so everyone keep bringing out one, like I say, to go a little deeper into it, speaking on the no value part. I know, some Christians may, get a hold of this lesson or whatnot. They might think, well, I got a homegirl that, got an OnlyFans page and she make plenty of money with it. She pretty valuable, but well, we in the truth, paraphrase the scripture, is the love, money is a defense, but the love of money is the root of all evil. So just because you got an OnlyFans page and you out there acting, making some money out there, putting some live stuff out there like that, you still don't hold any value when it comes to the Most High.
You're right. Another heavy point, bringing out OnlyFans. That's another social media link. We could go on and on with this. On and on. And as you say, yeah, money is a defense, but guess what? Not at the expense of your morality. If you are in this truth, you understand that. But if you're not, you're willing to bust it wide open for everybody. You're willing to open it up so everyone can look up in you. That's unfortunate, but that's what you're doing on social media. You're taking away all the modesty. You're leaving nothing to a man's imagination. He sees you, and then what he sees is an object. There was something that I was looking at that a sister posted not too long ago. She posted this on social media, but this was information. And these doctors, these psychiatrists, basically said that they were taking men, and there's a certain point or certain part of their brain that is stimulated in a certain type of way, and it reacts to certain things. So what they would do is they would take a picture of tools, and they also would take a picture of women. These women would be half dressed. And what would happen is the same response that the men would have to the tools, they would also have the same response to the women who were half dressed. What that was proving was that they saw the tools as an object. They saw the women who were half dressed as objects. Understand that. They saw the women who were half dressed as objects. Just like when they looked at the tools, they saw those as objects. Their minds, their brains reacted the same way to both images. Now, when they saw a woman that was dressed properly, different response. Then it doesn't look like an object, it's actually another person. It's a they, it's a them, it's a her. And now when I say they or them, understand I'm not talking about these different pronouns, but I'm saying they see life, they see a person before them. So that's something that you need to think about. That's psychological. That's science. Since you love science so much, that's science. So when you're showing your body on social media, you actually are losing value. You're actually being looked at as an object, something that, oh, I want to go and bust up your back. That's what I want to do to you. And then keep it moving. There's no value there. You can look at woman after woman after woman after woman after woman. She can twerk, 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 twerk. There's only so many ways you're going to do it. There's only so many ways you can twerk. It won't even matter. You'll see it and like, oh, okay, great. Next, let me see the next twerker. Next, let me see the next twerker. Next, let me see the next twerker. How do I know? Because I was a brother who would go and say, you know what, I'm going to scroll through and see. I'm looking at sisters twerking. Now, am I doing that now? No. Understand, I'm letting you know that yes, have I looked at my phone and used it as a tool for those things to get stimulation in my mind? Absolutely I have. Most people, everyone has. But understand this. Once you come into this truth, there's a switch that turns off. You have to know when to take this right here, this phone. You have to know when to take it and put it down. You have to know when to take it and turn it off. When you get ready to go to bed at night, matter of fact, here's a question and something I want you to think about. What are you doing before you go to bed at night? You don't even have to answer this question. Before you go to bed at night, what is the last thing that you're doing? Or 10 to 15 minutes before that? You don't have to answer. Here's the next question. When you wake up in the morning, what's one of the first things you do? When you wake up in the morning, what's one of the first things that you do? Now, if we're being honest with ourselves, I know that I'll be honest. A lot of times when I wake up in the morning, I grab my phone. Now, I'm looking to see, have I missed any calls? Have I got any messages? But guess what? If I don't have any missed calls or messages, you know, while I'm laying here, I don't have to get up just yet. Let me see what's going on Facebook. Let me scroll through Facebook. Next thing you know, I'm supposed to be at work at 8 o'clock. I'm scrolling at 7:15. I got 45 minutes to get to work. You see? You're neglecting your responsibility of the things that you need to do. It has overcome you. Social media has. That's how simple it is. So what I'm going to do, give me Ecclesiastes 3. Ecclesiastes 3, 1 through 8 by Bashai. The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verses 1 through 8.
Okay. This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verse 1. To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven.
Self-explanatory. Continue.
Verse 2. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted. Verse 3. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to break down and a time to build up.
Now stop right there. Before we go further, what I want you to understand is that There's a time for everything. As I said, there's nothing wrong with you getting on social media. There's nothing wrong with you talking on the phone to your friends. There's nothing wrong with you playing video games. But staying to the purpose of what we're talking about, when I say that is social media your God, I'm letting you know that you have to do things in moderation. Don't let something as simple as social media consume you. Go ahead and continue reading out. Go ahead. Go ahead.
It's kind of, try not to laugh, but it's kind of funny that, just listen to the title of the class is, social media God. And I just think it's not a morning that I get up and I don't see, at least 5 Christians on there. I like to thank God for waking me up this morning, they on social media, so it like directly they talking like, it seems, when they doing it like that, nothing being in the truth. It seems like they talking to social media, talking to Facebook, like, thanks Facebook for waking me up this morning. Because the way they carry on, because I see so many, want to thank God, but so you put up a scripture or say, oh, you don't want to eat pork, or you don't supposed to be, out here, doing, celebrating birthdays and holidays. Oh, I don't want to hear none of that. But he said, thank you, God for waking up this morning, It just seems very hypocritical, but funny at the same time. Wow.
You're right. You're right. I'm going to tell you, you're going into some of what I was going to be talking about, because they do get on Facebook, and when I say it's Facebook your God, you get on Facebook and you put a whole prayer on Facebook. That's what Christians do. Father God, I come before you today, Lord, just to say, like, nigga, what are you talking about? Why are you getting on Facebook with a complete prayer? The Lord isn't scrolling through going, oh, let me answer Jerome's prayer today. He just put it on Facebook. Let me answer Sister Celia's prayer today. She just posted on Facebook. I mean, Facebook is your God. How do we prove it? I know everyone in here has gotten the text or the post that'll say, well, or the inbox message saying, share this in 10 minutes and so will happen. Share this in so and you'll see a so happen. And guess what people will do? They will share it. They will share it. And then guess what? Go ahead, Anwar.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that would be before social media. The whole thread, texting,
right,
and all that.
Right.
After a few times, you gotta feel stupid for doing it.
Right.
And then all the old Christians getting online preaching. They just, I guess they think it's gonna bring them. They gotta think you gotta bring them closer to God or something.
Right. And you have to ask yourself, once you have done it, once you've shared the post that you were supposed to share, that the Lord sent, and then nothing happens, like you're going to be blessed in the next 10 minutes, but then you aren't blessed in the next 10 minutes, what is your thought process then? Because I'm going to tell you what you were doing. You were waiting. You were waiting to hear something. You're waiting for someone to ring the doorbell, someone to call you. You're waiting for someone to come up and talk to you and say something to you so you can say, there it is. That was the word from the Lord. Somebody posted this and sent it to me, and there it is. The Lord spoke to me. That's because Facebook is your God. Social media, TikTok, whatever, it's your God. You're expecting to hear from the Lord on Facebook. Well, I'm going to tell you who I hear. When I want to hear from the Lord, I get counsel. That's what I do. Here in the I.S.U.P.K, when I want to hear from the Lord, I get counsel. Once I get counsel, guess what? I just heard from the Lord. But I can tell you this. On Facebook, social media, you're not. Because I'm going to tell you what happens on social media. This is why I love my brothers. We're one body. One truth. Because what happens is when someone gets to getting sensitive on social media and they say, oh, I just don't want to live no more, or they say something like, man, bump this, I'm about to leave the truth, or this and that and the other happened, everyone will say, seek counsel. Go get counsel out. Go get counsel, sis. Everyone says that. There's no one on there trying to break it down and say, well, look, what the problem is this. So-and-so and so-and-so and such and such. Go to the book of Genesis. No one's trying to give you no scripture and break it down and be your counselor on Facebook. Now, you will see fake Israelites do that. And you will damn sure see Christians do it. A Christian will get on there quickly to be your counselor and say, well, you can do all things through Christ who gives you strength. They'll get on there and do that. They'll try to be your counselor. But no, in the ISUPK, we have men above us. I go to Captain Ratazai. I'll wear Captain Ratazai's phone out if I need to for counsel. I'm not going to be on social media talking about, well, yeah, I'm dealing with so-and-so and such and such, and wait for someone to get on there and respond. Because what you're doing is you're crying out for attention when you do that. Like the sister who put on there, this is an Israelite sister who got the monkeypox. And she posted a picture of herself from day 1 to day 12 as her monkeypox was progressing. She was opening her mouth and letting you see all down her throat. And I was wondering, why was this woman doing that? Like General Hyman said, she should have had her ass up under her bed, healing, hiding. Don't nobody want to see that. But guess what? Her mind told her, get on Facebook to get some likes. Almost as though she was the first. Like, look, I'm first to get the monkeypox. I got it first. So let me go ahead and post it. So you got people who look at it going, oh man, so-and-so got monkeypox. She on Facebook right now, go look, go look. And then you got people on there commenting, oh, get well, do this, that, and the other, so-and-so and such and such. But no one's telling you, get your ass off of Facebook, sit down somewhere, and whatever it is that you're doing that causes you to get monkeypox, it's time to repent and turn away from it.
Right.
That's what needs to be done. Not run the social media to post it so you can get comments. That's not what it's about. Did someone say Salakia? Okay. Well, look, I'm going to read that last verse in the book of Ecclesiastes. I'm not even going to go to 8. I'm going to go to 4. It says, a time to weep and a time to laugh. So there is a time to laugh. So don't get me wrong when I'm saying if you're looking at something on social media and you laugh at it. Because I know my brothers, myself and Yakazak, we'll send each other stuff back and forth. We'll be cracking up at this stuff because it's just the silliness that we see. But it's nothing that we're consumed with. So yeah, there's a time to laugh. And there's a time to dance. But guess what? The scripture says it here, in the time to dance. But that time to dance is not on TikTok, not if you're a grown man. Matter of fact, it's not a time to dance on any social media platform if you've grown anything, woman or man. Now, understand this. If you're out and you're dancing, you're having a good time and someone's filming it, okay, no big deal. But my purpose isn't to say, okay, I'm about to bust this move, make sure you got the camera angles right. That's not what it is. If I happen to be out with the brothers and I'm dancing and someone's filming it, okay, cool, no sweating or whatever, we're having a good time. But my goal is to say, make sure you have the camera out so we can get some likes, so we can get some posts and some followers. That's not what it is. Follow me for this truth. Don't follow me for some worldly garbage. Follow me for the truth. Follow me if I'm having fun. Matter of fact, if you want to see brotherhood, if you want to record something, record the brotherhood and the sisterhood here in the I.S.U.P.K. Record that and post it. See if that goes viral. Record the brotherhood within the I.S.U.P.K. Post that on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook. Let's get that to get some likes. Let's let people see that we have come together here in the I.S.U.P.K. to follow these laws, statutes, and commandments that were passed down to us from the Most High God. So people can see that. Let's make that go viral. Let's get some likes for that. If it's not that, then miss me with it. I'm going to go ahead and continue. Do I have any other comments on the phone right now? Excellent, then we will go on. So, Zariella, go ahead, Out.
Come on, Constance. I just want to say,
Yabashim Shakata.
Excellent class, sir.
The water where I do appreciate it. Now, I'd already asked a question about what it is that you do when you wake up in the morning. And to go back to that, I'm pretty sure if you're being honest with yourself, you probably know that you picked up your phone when you get up in the morning. You open your eyes, you wake up, you stretch a little bit, you look around, you might pick up your phone, look and see, and then you go to Facebook, you go to social media, and then you get up, shower, get dressed, get out, and before you walk out the door, guess what you're doing again? You're looking at your phone. That's a master right there. That's something that you got to train yourself to not do. To put your phone down. Now, in the I.S.U.P.K, we are told to keep our phone near us. Now, that is in case we get a text and or call, because we might have to spring into duty quickly to go and do something. We have to follow orders. We have to see what's been sent to us. So I'll say this right here: if you can be on social media, and this is for us in this school. This, when I say school, meaning the I.S.U.P.K. as a whole. If you can be on social media and you can comment and you can like, guess what else you can be on? You can be on this phone whenever you get a phone call or you get a text, and you can respond to it. We are an army here. We are a military unit here in the I.S.U.P.K. And I'm not talking about Esau's military. We belong to the Lord. We are His warriors, His soldiers. We are under commanding General Yahanna. So when you get an order, when you get something that you're supposed to do or respond to, you respond to it. Because guess what? You respond to social media. Ooh, that's a heavy one right there. You respond to social media. When someone says something, you see it and you respond to it. When you respond to these messages that you get, you respond to these calls that you get here in the I.S.U.P.K. Don't let social media consume you. I told you this topic will be a heavy topic because it's going to touch on some things that may trigger you, touch on some things that may make you look at yourself and say, you know what, maybe you're right. Maybe I need to tighten up on this. I can say that with myself. I can check myself in certain things. Do not let social media consume you. As I was saying, for some people, they've damn near become an avatar. When they're looking in the mirror, it's almost as though they have forgotten who they are through the course of their day because they've been on social media so much. So what I'm going to do, we're going to go into this the metaverse for a minute. We don't have a whole lot of time, but I'm going to cover these topics. And go ahead.
And another thing, you probably gonna touch on this, but another thing is changing like dating, because back in the day, females, especially for the females, before social media, they had to get attention from
right
in and around your way or whatever. Now they got thousands of guys and the likes and everything.
Right.
Where they
swipe left, swipe right.
Yeah, where they really don't have to. You know what I'm saying? It make it more hard to get. Well, not get to them, but it's like they got like a lot of options.
Right.
The females got a lot of options now. They could be in a hut in the a hut in Dominican Republic.
Right.
And have 100,000 followers.
Right.
And don't need you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Because you know what she needs? She needs, her God is social media.
Attention is money.
Attention.
It is the new.
Right.
It's better than money almost.
Right. I don't need you. I don't need a man. I got Facebook. I don't need a man. I got TikTok. I got Instagram.
Yeah, I got like 100 dudes in my DM every day.
Right. They'll tell you that. What I need you for? I got brothers DMing me every day. Well, guess what? Yeah. Where's the physical man that is there with you? You are exactly right.
Yes.
These sisters, their status has become what they need.
Right. Because a brother they probably would have married and had a family with years ago. Regular. Y'all match up. Y'all got stuff in common. Y'all will make a good couple, but she gonna exhaust her options now because she
right.
She on fire on social
right.
media.
She got options.
Yeah, so right. It's messed up a lot of structures too.
Absolutely. She said, "Oh, I got brothers choosing because I got 10 likes or because they're in my DM." You're correct. That's heavy right there on the one. But look, we're gonna go into this metaverse. What is metaverse? Many experts. Now I want you to listen to this now. Many experts look at the metaverse as a 3D model of the internet. Basically, a place parallel to the physical world. Let me say that again. A place parallel to the physical world, where you spend your digital life. Come on now. I told you there's a spirit behind it. There's a demon all up and through this social media. It says here, where you spend your digital life. A place where you and other people have an avatar. And you interact with them through their avatars. Some also argue that the metaverse is the truest sense of the term, the truest sense of the term doesn't actually exist yet. Think about that now. When they created the metaverse, one of the first things I heard was that there were, I don't know if they were football players or who they were. I don't want to misquote it, but I will say this much. There were some avatars The people that were created, there were people who created these avatars of themselves. And in the metaverse, they sexually harassed a woman in the metaverse. Think about that. They sexually harassed a woman in the goddamn metaverse. Really? You sexually harass someone in the metaverse, in a digital world, in a 3D world? And there was an issue behind it. Are you kidding? So niggas can start to get in trouble for what they do in the metaverse. Pay attention now. For what you do in the metaverse, that can be something attached to you for it. Oh, well, those two right there, they were in the metaverse. Matter of fact, you can go to concerts and all these other different things, and you can go to a bar or what have you, and do something in the metaverse and screw up and then possibly get in trouble for it. It didn't actually happen in real life, but it did happen in your virtual life. Boy, I tell you what, the white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of, in case you didn't know. Now, as I said here, a place parallel to the physical world where you spend your digital life. I don't have a digital life. My life is right here. My life is right here at 3353 Glenwood Road, Decatur, Georgia. My life is in the I.S.U.P.K, not in the digital world. But for those of you who aren't in this truth, those of you who need social media, those of you who look at social media as your God, yeah, it's your digital life. The metaverse. That it used to be called Facebook, now it's the metaverse. It's advancing. Follow me. I'm not even done yet. We're gonna go a little bit further. Let me see here. Who remembers The Sims? Let me see if anybody remembers The Sims. The Sims now The Sims, the world's most popular life. Go ahead. Absolutely.
I know that game went further than that because with so many different versions.
Right. This was the most popular life simulator game created. And it's actually about 22 years old now. I think it came out in like 2000. The damn Sims. A life simulator. Now, let me see if I can read a little bit about it so you can just see what we've gone to, because it's the metaverse now. It's no longer Sims where you're creating a family. You're building your family, you're building a house and all these different things. In the Sims. In the metaverse, it's actually you now. It's actually you in the metaverse. Boy, I tell you what. It says here it's one of the most successful franchises. Let's see here if I can find some information to help you to see what it is I'm trying to bring out. Let's see here. It says here, if you could be anyone, who would you be? For 2 decades, the Sims franchise has answered this timeless question for hundreds of millions of players. Every time you boot up the Sims, it's akin to conducting it's akin to conducting a social experiment on virtual beings. So what it was doing was it was allowing you to create a family, something of yourself, to say, hey, here's my family, here's what I do. Outside of what you do in real life. Are you that goddamn miserable that you have to create something simulated on a video game and then act as though, okay, hey, here's what I do? Mind you, there's nothing wrong with playing video games. There's nothing even wrong with playing The Sims. But guess what? When you start answering to Sims, when you start answering to that, then there's an issue. When you start thinking that you're the person who's in Sims, that's a problem. Understand that social media in these games are no joke. This virtual world and this virtual reality have become people's reality. And that's a psychological issue. That's a problem that you're having within your mind because you've separated yourself from reality and you come into this world. Guess who else separates you from reality? And I'm not going to go heavy into this, but Christianity separates you from reality. Not following these laws, statutes, and commandments separates you from reality. It puts you in a realm all of your own, where you come up with your own truth. And guess what happens when you come up with your own truth? You come up with your own family and friends. You come up with the Sims. You come up with the metaverse. You come up with an avatar. That's what happens. Let me go ahead and continue. Let's see here what's next. So ultimately, these programs have been designed and over time advanced so you can separate yourself from reality. Now I'm going to go into reverse for a moment with social media. As you've heard me talk about how they use your actions to create this reality. Ooh, it's 9 o'clock. I'm probably going to go for about 5 more minutes and then I'm going to cut it. Just to give a few more points. If you look at social media to be your counselor, then more than likely you're probably putting your personal business out in the street or out in the world for the world to see. So to touch on this really quick, and this is going to be where I'm going to have to end it at, give me the book of Proverbs, verse 12 and 15. Oh, chapter 12, verse 15. The book of Proverbs, chapter 12, verse 15. Baba Kashad.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 12, verse 15. The way of a fool is right in his own eyes, but he that hearkeneth unto counsel is wise.
Now, think about that. You're putting your personal business out in the street on social media because you want it to be your counselor. The scripture just lets you know that you're going to get the counsel from fools is what you're going to get if you're dealing with it and putting your business out on social media. That's what's going to happen there. We're going to hit another one. Give me the book of Psalms, chapter 118, verse 8. The book of Psalms, chapter 118, verse 8. Reading when you have it.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 118, verse 8. It is better to trust in the Lord than to put confidence in man.
It is better to trust in the Lord than to put confidence in man. Who are you putting your confidence in when you're posting all of your issues on social media? Social media is not your counselor. It is better to trust in the Lord. Now, I think I'm going to end up having to do a part 2 to this because there's so much more that I have to go into. But due to the same time and it being 9 o'clock, we're going to end it right there. So with that, I'm going to hand the class over to powerful priest and prophet, Barak Yahanna.
Well, so Barak Yahanna, this is Atlanta, I.S.U.P.K. Atlanta security announcements. We at the I.S.U.P.K. started on 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for a new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they're off limits for 6 months. They're to be saluted only. They're here to share themselves with the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6 month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, comes out of Numbers 18:21, Malachi 3:8-10, means pronounced ma'asra, tenth in the Hebrew, means tenth in Hebrew. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the Treasury Department. It's also a priest fund, a free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you will like. Next upcoming holy convocation is in September. It's the Feast of Trumpets. A Feast of like a memorial of blowing of trumpets. Sunday, September 25th. And you can look that up in Leviticus 23, verses 24 through 25. Any brothers that would like to prospect and possibly join the school to start getting in all black. There's two boots, shirts, pants, headbands, or a scarf. Get with one of the officers, find out our camp times and location, and you can start your process. And with that, Israel, we'll do a courtesy salute to the teacher for excellent class. Michael Shabbat, Amajah, Barak, Yahanna, Yabashim, Yabashim, Rakatah.
Yabashim, Rakatah.
Hands down, class dismissed.